Hi, I'm Cara Lockwood, a USA Today bestselling author and editor and owner of Edit My Novel. I've created a series of workshops for new writers hoping to learn more about writing. The first in this series is called The Truth About Writing because I think people need to know what they're getting into before they start their novel. So, what is the first truth about writing? Well, it's like running a marathon. This is not a sprint. A sprint was your research paper in high school, that short story you wrote, maybe, or even your thesis in college. A novel is a marathon. You're going to have to train hard. You're going to have to keep motivated. Only a select few will complete one. But the good news is it starts with one step. All you have to do is break it down to little bits and you'll be able to do it. The second truth about writing is that you have to read first. Writers learn to be good writers by reading. There was once a statistic I read that said more people start writing a novel than read one every year. That's crazy. All right, if you're going to write a novel, you need to read novels. You have to see what other people have done. There's no better way to understand writing than to see it. So, William Faulkner once said that you can learn something even from bad writing, and he was right. Even bad novels will teach you something. Another truth is coming up with a premise is the easy part. I know some of you think this is the hard part, but it's not. I can't count the number of times people have come up to me and said, Cara, I've got a great idea for your next book. But the ideas are the easy part. I have tons of ideas. The hard part is writing 85,000 to 125,000 words, taking that little premise and stretching it into a big story. That is the hard part. Another truth about writing is practice makes perfect. If you're really serious about writing your novel, you're going to have to dedicate at least an hour a day to writing, every day. First-time writers especially need to get into the habit of writing every day. You have to keep it fresh in your mind. It's the only way to get better. When you write, of course, it won't be perfect the first time, and that's okay. That's what revisions are for. You have to write every day for an hour, even if you don't like what you're writing, because you can always revise. What you can't do is edit a blank page. When you're writing a novel, your brain will hurt. Okay, your brain doesn't come hardwired to keep track of 350 pages and dozens of characters and scenes. You are going to have to train your brain to write. So, how do you do this? Well, when I was writing my first novel, I printed out the chapters as I finished them. I held them in my hands, and this helped me to visualize how the story was flowing, what pace and length really looked like. It helped me learn about how to put it in my brain. So, the other benefit was that it also let me see how much progress I was making. So as that stack of papers grew, I got more excited. I thought I'm getting closer to the end. Another very serious truth about writing is that people will be haters. You probably know this already, but people will tell you that you can't do it. It's a waste of time or that being a writer is impossible. They may tell you you're no good and you have no hope to be a writer. These people are haters. You're going to have to learn to ignore them. What you should know is that you want to write and that all writers can learn and get better. There is not a single person that can't become a better writer with some hard work and perseverance. Another truth is your book isn't going to write itself. Okay, if you want to write a novel, it can't be a wistful someday, maybe I'll get around to it. I really hope one day this is my dream. You have to be deliberate. You have to make room for it in your life. When I was starting out as a writer, I had a very demanding job. I worked for a newspaper, a daily newspaper, and I had a 10 to 12 hour shift, and I was constantly working overtime, and I was frazzled and fried, and on the weekends where I thought I would write, I had no energy to write. Well, my dream was writing a novel, and I knew I couldn't do it if I kept this crazy job. So I quit that job. I got a different one that was strictly 9 to 5 and something that I had plenty of energy left over when I got home to write my novel. I wrote during my lunch hour. When other people went out, I sat at my desk and I wrote some of my novels. So I made room for it in my life because it was important, and you need to as well. The other truth about writing is you're going to lose your objectivity. Some days you will think it's the best book in the world. And some days you're going to think this is the worst piece of garbage anyone has ever written. This happens to every writer I know. If you feel this way about your writing, congratulations, you're a writer. So because you lose your objectivity, you're going to need good feedback. Constructive feedback is important for any writer. So you're going to have to find a beta reader. When you're ready and you want candid feedback, don't find a yes person that's going to tell you it's fantastic or a negative person that's going to tell you everything is terrible. You need to find someone who's going to give you constructive feedback. I personally recommend a professional editor. If you don't want to hire me at Edit My Novel, find someone else who will, because you need only writers can only get better if they get constructive feedback. Another truth about writing is just when you think you're done and you're not. All right, your first draft is the dress rehearsal. Just because you've finished that last page doesn't mean you're done. Revisions are often what make a final book amazing. All right, you're going to have to revise your book, make it better. Another truth about writing is you will want to quit a lot. All right, every writer at some point swears they are going to quit. Famously, Stephen King threw away an early draft of Carrie. His wife fished it out of the trash for him, read it, and told him that he couldn't throw it away because it was too good. Well, you know, it went on to be one of his first bestsellers. So the difference between a published author and an unpublished author, you know, there may be many, but one very serious one is that the published author never gave up. So keep pushing through. Another truth about writing is your odds are not good for success. I know we talked about haters earlier. I'm not going to be a hater. I'm going to be a realist. So realistically speaking, most Americans have an unfinished novel on their computer. Most of them aren't going to finish. And those that do probably won't publish because there are more than 125,000 novels published every year. This number grows every single day. So only a handful of those will even be bestsellers. Your chances are not good. But if writing is in your blood, you don't care. I don't know how many times I've said if I wasn't paid to write, I would write anyway. I feel compelled to write. I love to write. I spend a lot of time writing. I can't imagine a life where I wouldn't write in some way. So if you feel the same, then writing is in your blood. So, are you ready to write? I hope you are. If you'd like some more writing advice, drop on by Edit My Novel. If you'd like some constructive feedback or some writing coaching, please email me. I would love to help. In the meantime, good luck with your writing.